Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video, and we are back looking at the war between ourselves, our allies in 1718, and our enemies in Kingdom 1818 and 1903. This was a very high level A-Kingdom war that took place a few months ago on the Siege of Orleans map. At this point in the war, we're about 2.5 days into the fighting. Our side has a bit of an edge at this point, but the night before we had attempted to do a fort drop near one of the enemy's passes. 1818 had teleported there in force and essentially overwhelmed the foothold that we had established. And so I went to bed feeling a little bit pessimistic about the war. I had just witnessed, a very large, overwhelming 1818 army, and when you experience that firsthand and your flags get swarmed, you take bad trades. I think one of my farm cities might have gotten hit briefly. When that happens, you kind of just get this feeling, or I do at least. I get this visceral feeling of, how are we going to beat this team? They look so much stronger than us at this exact moment. How are we going to beat this team? And that was the mindset I had when I went to bed, in sort of Korean time, in late night American time. And I woke up the next day and I pretty much got online at the changing of the guard moment of this war, where in the hours before this, the enemy had a time zone advantage and the enemy generally made a bit of progress. And then around day change, that's when many of our Korean allies started to wake up, and this changing of the guard is a very gradual thing. It doesn't happen right away, but as time goes on, your side starts to gain momentum, your side goes on the attack in certain situations, and the morale for your side gets higher, the morale for the enemy side gets a little bit lower, and their players start to log off. And so we're going to look at that in this video, and we're also going to look at the power of the Henry-Zhuge rally and, really what makes the Henry-Zhuge the best rally in Rise of Kingdoms today. So, this fight here, I think one of the main things to look at really is just that some flags are much easier to burn than others. This flag had no cities really close to it to reinforce. And so once we pushed in the open field, once we had better numbers than them in the open field and pushed them away, this flag became trivially easy to burn because they just didn't have any way to reinforce it easily. And players know that. I mean, Cigar Warthog was sitting right there, but Warthog knew in that situation that if anyone was going to rain it, it was only going to be him. And that's demoralizing, and nobody wants to be the only person reinforcing a flag. But like I said, this was a shift in the war. This was the time period where we were about to go on the offense. And so a lot of things were happening, and the enemy was correctly picking spots where they could still be on the attack. We were focused on that other flag fighting against 1818, and then here elsewhere on the map, Lost, our other enemies, they were connecting or reconnecting actually to a flag that they had almost burned down earlier in the day. And it's kind of funny to listen to my own voice chat as I was editing this video, because I essentially say, the first thing I say when I look at this situation is, okay, let's give up this first flag and then let's defend the next one. And I think part of the reason I said that was because this flag that we're looking at here, our flag in green, that's not an easy flag to defend either. We have very few cities nearby, and so the rains are going to be not optimal in a flag like that. So my first instinct was, let's just give up that flag. But there must have been some other voices on voice chat that had different opinions, and a few minutes later, I changed my mind, or we changed our minds really. And we decided, okay, let's actually try to go over there and either defend the flag that we had or try to destroy the flag that the enemy was building. Because, when we talk about vulnerable flags, another vulnerable type of flag is a flag that is still under construction. Because in an under construction flag, you can only reinforce it with one march. Each player can only reinforce the flag with one march at a time. And that drastically changes the defensive power of a flag garrison. Because normally what happens in a well-defended flag is that you have a bunch of cities around that flag, and one or more of those cities can constantly throw in reinforcements and keep the garrison full and make that trade against the rally much, much better. And I would say that generally best practice in this game is that you really want to have 2 cities around a flag or a fort that is prepared to quickly send tons of troops into that flag. That's going to be just a solid fundamental way to have a great defense. Now, there are other ways to do it. Another way to do it is just to have tons of people who are dedicated reinforcing players, and have just a ton of people sending multiple marches to the cities around a flag, and then collectively they will kind of, keep that flag full. So we had a first Henry-Zhuge rally on this flag, and, we weren't quite set up. We were not able to, clear the enemy field when that rally hit. We were not able to get reinforcements to the flag. And, the flag was still under construction, though. They didn't really fill up the flag too quickly here. So we did get another shot at rallying this flag down. That guy was rallying. This was really one of the first times that I had worked really closely with that guy, who was one of the many very good players who migrated from Kingdom 1252 into the Handsome Devils a couple of KVKs ago now, but they've just been a great addition, and are great people, great players, and are really part of
you're gonna need
the core.
Empty hospitals and refresh and get back out here.
So I'm doing this narration, and I forget that I'm gonna share a few audio clips of me doing some shot calling during this rally. So from now on, I'll be a little bit quiet when these.
All right, so let's try to get Archer Reigns into that guy's rally.
Yeah, so this was just like a very good attack by us, and the Henry-Zhuge is so good because
no AoE.
It helps you fight under the flag. It's hard to swarm. The rally is getting swarmed, but it's hard to swarm a Henry-Zhuge. It hurts, and marches in the AoE get wrecked.
Yeah, attack the rally swarmers. Fill up the rally.
So this was like a very knife's edge type of situation here, where we did not have a lot of reins on this rally, but we were winning the open field. The Henry-Zhuge was helping us to win the open field, and
there's room in the rally.
And then the enemy was not really reinforcing this flag all that well either. So this was just a very close fight. The health bars of the rally and the Jan Hera garrison are pretty much even at this point.
Fill up the rally, guys.
And I do wish I could share everyone's voice chat. One of the regrets I have is that I don't record everyone's voice chat during these moments, but at least you're getting a bit of it from me.
Yeah, if you have a nice march, go ahead and swarm it. Don't swarm with yellow marches, though. I think we're okay. Yeah, flags at 770, so we can swarm. Good marches, you can. Yeah, okay. Swarm it with like anything decent, honestly.
And so at this point, the garrison is very low. We have the fresh marches are swarming it. I mean, we did this very well, right? Like, my marches are all yellow health or red health. I have no business swarming this flag. But the players who had just rejoined the fight, who had high health marches, they swarmed this flag along with the very quickly, the quickly vanishing rally of ours, and we got that very nice destruction of their flag, which at this point now, their offensive push is set back quite a bit because we have a bunch of marches over here. They have no business putting up another flag anytime soon. And here is that battle report of that second rally from that guy's Henry-Zhuge. You can see the trade on the rally is about even, but it's really that AoE. The AoE is the whole story here, where we had basically 3 times more kill points than the enemy. They took 500,000 severely woundeds fighting underneath our Henry-Zhuge rally. And that not only made the trade good for us, but that potentially was what made the difference in us winning that open field fight. 500k severely wounded is a lot of dead marches that are not able to keep fighting. And that may have made the numbers difference in us eventually getting that flag burnt. I go through there and check the reinforcements on the rally real quick. You can see that there were not a lot of reinforcements. This was a close situation. People were focused on the open field. Not a lot of Reigns got in. I think the clutch play there was a player named Anti-Gen. Reinforced with 1 march. Or actually, I think they might have originally had a march in the rally. They pulled that march out and then put a fresh archer march back in. Those are the kind of plays that just make a huge difference in fights like that. And you also saw me get my Boudica march in there. You saw a couple other players get their archer marches in there. And in a close fight like that, it makes a huge difference. And so this to me was just a very enjoyable battle that we were in, a successful battle. And, you know, I hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to throw a like on the video to support my channel. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. There's going to be more war videos from this 1818 war coming in the future. We're at maybe like the 1/3 of the fight in a day's time perspective. From an emotional perspective, I'd say we're about at halftime at this point. So plenty more to come. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all on the flip side.